Did you ever wonder about buying solid state drive, or you're building a gaming PC and you wonder about where is the best place to store your data? So this video is for you. Hello guys, it's me Mardax and welcome to this video. We are close to 2020 and maybe you wonder about HDD versus SSD to store your data, play your games or other stuff. In the last few years, when the SSD showed up at the market in reasonable price, people start using this for mostly operating system. Facts that this works with much faster response to owner's actions or performing some tasks. But to these days, a lot of people still use HDD for data other than operating system, or don't even have SSDs at all. So, how much RPMs, revolutions per minute, disks are capable of? Like from 4300 to even 50,000. Typical and mostly known speeds are like 5400 RPMs for laptops and 7200 for standard PCs. What's about the higher? Typical server disks have like 10,000 RPMs, but maybe you were in server room to hear how loud they are. Of course, more RPMs, the driver is faster, but also louder. Okay, let's get straight to the point. At these days, most people have SSD for operating system and HDD for storage larger data like movies, music, and of course games. And modern games require more and more space for data. I hope you don't expect Cyberpunk 2077 to take only 20 gigabytes. The Witcher 3 took like around 50 gigabytes with all of the DLCs, and The Witcher 3 is from 2015. So, to have a lot of new games will require a lot of space. A SSD plus HD option is ideal. To be honest, for things like movies and music you don't need SSD, even HDD too, because you have sites like for VOD or similar for music online. But we are on gaming related channels, so we're gonna focus on this spicy thing. And which will be better for you, SSD or HDD for gaming PC? I did some research about if SSD gives you more FPS than traditional technology, and results at current state are yes and no. Mostly it really depends on your entire PC. Games as advanced programs, they hardly depend on CPU and GPU power, and these two are the most important things. It's not just for storage data, and most even with 4K games results are the same, or SSD have a little bit better results like 2 or 4 FPS in average more than on HDD. I was thinking about why, and maybe I found something. In last decade, and a little bit more, people started to buy more and more laptops. It happens that big brands start their gaming laptop brands for people who wanna have high power of PC, with pros and cons of laptops. So, developers creating games, they had to know that you were gonna store them on HDD, and also slower one for like typical laptops. And they had to create the games with that idea in mind, especially if they wanted games to run smoothly for final customer. So, tests about GTA 5 on HDD versus SSD are kinda useless because GTA 5 is a game from 2013, even if it showed up for PCs in 2015. All tests show only how faster you can boot and load some games compared to hard drive. So now, let's say that solid state drive doesn't gonna give you much more power, especially if you wanna run GTA. But let's get back a little bit to Cyberpunk. In 2020, there will be Cyberpunk 2077, and it will be available on PS5 and new Xbox console, at now Project Scarlet. We know that PS5 will gonna have SSD, also we are coming step after step to have 4K resolution as standard. And even Full HD games try to look really realistic, and you know what, photorealistic textures which need to look amazing on 4K games require a lot of space. And HDD technology have that space, also for a much cheaper price. But another problem is that if you wanna smoothly run games in even 1080p with beautiful graphic effects, texture and settings, the traditional HDD cannot be enough for that. Right now games have problems, and sometimes loading big games can train your patience. And speed of modern SSDs not only helps with games, it helps with anything related to massive data, like for example video editing or streaming and recording footage in the same time on the same disk. Also, transferring data is much faster thanks to that. Of course, if you're gonna try to transfer data from hard drive to solid state drive via USB 2.0, it won't gonna help. But transferring larger data from SSD to SSD via USB 3.0 is like a new level. Some people are still gonna use only HDD for arguments like your SSD can't broke fast by writing data, it's an electronic device so it can't get burned, and HDD can store data like for years as a stable solution. Also, I know that solid state drive costs much more than typical hard disks, and you can check them at any site. For example on Amazon, which link for that is in the description. You can check, I'm not forcing you. All SSDs have like cycles. An amount of how much time we can fool the drive, then rewrite it again. Mostly its producers inform us that we can expect like from 3000 to 10,000 cycles. What does that mean? Simple. If we took 3000, you can rewrite data that disk is capable of like around 3000 times. So for example, we have 1 terabyte SSD with 3000 cycles, that means you will be able to write like 3000 terabytes before SSD will gonna start dying. And how often you write this amount of data in one day or even month? But let's assume that you do. So we have 3000 terabytes and divided by full year, we're gonna have like 8.2 years of working for SSD if every day you will write like 1 terabyte of data. Of course it's an electronic device, but even HDD can be broken easily. I know a story that old HDD got broken because somebody punched the disk too hard after losing match in a game. And HDD can store data like for years. Mostly HDD have like a lifespan around 10 years, even if technically they can more. But to be honest, you will be waiting like 10 years to buy new discs. Speaking again of games. When developers will gonna create their games for mainly SSD performance, you will gonna start to see that it's time to say goodbye with your old HDD. So, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you're gonna subscribe and leave notification. You can also write a comment below. I'm gonna respond you if you have like questions or something, or your opinion. Definitely, you can check also the description. And yeah, thank you very much again. See you soon.